All right, good evening and welcome into another episode of Watching. It's another debut episode. This is one that a lot of people wanted, and I was really excited when I saw that this guy was going to get to be starting. I wasn't sure if they're going to use him in a relief role or a starting role, but it's Trey Yesavage. This guy right here, 6'4", 225, Toronto Blue Jays number one prospect. He was a first round pick, 20th overall of the 2024 first year player draft out of East Carolina. So 2024, we are in 2025. That is a very fast rise to the big leagues in a pennant race. This has been a theme this year. The Mets doing it with three guys into the pennant race, but also just guys getting very quickly to the big leagues. Chase Burns. There's been quite a few. So anyway, this is another in the line of those. Peyton Tolley was a recent debut in a pennant race. Connolly Early that we've watched. Now we get to watch Trey Yesavage. So let's get into how he was doing in the minors to get called up. Kind of a crazy season. He's on 4 teams this year. In the aggregate, 3.12 ERA, 5-1 record, 98 innings, 160 strikeouts, 54 hits, 41 walks. So that breaks down to a 5 hits per 9, 3.8 walks per 9, and 14.7 strikeouts per 9. So very similar to Jonah Tong, who I looked at recently, in that the strikeout numbers are eye-popping and the hit numbers are eye-popping, but there's also some walks. Doesn't look out of control, but that's what he did. He went literally from low A all the way to the big leagues this year, which is pretty impressive. In AAA most recently, he had made 4 starts, 4.15, actually 3.63 ERA, 17.1 innings pitched, 11 walks, 26 strikeouts. So the strikeouts are still there. Nobody's hitting them, but he had a lot more walks than AAA. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Maybe my guess is the command is probably the one thing holding him back. Something about his stuff clearly has separated itself pretty nicely here with all these strikeouts. All right, let's just go ahead and just hop into this game. The only thing I really know about him is that he throws super over the top. So that's it. Let's watch. All right, Trey Yesavage, first inning in the big leagues. Facing Chandler Simpson. Oh my God, that's over the top. Okay, we take a pause after pitch 1 for a 19.5 induced vertical break fastball. He throws extremely over the top, so this is very similar to Jonah Tong. High release, good backspin, not a ton of movement east-west. Very pin straight. It's going to look like it has a little perceived cut to the batter. Not like Jonah Tong, though. No extension whatsoever. 6'2", off of a very large man. So he's not striding very far down the mound. Here's what they say about him on the broadcast. 22 years old, 3 years at East Carolina, 20th overall pick, and then the same stuff I already went over. All right, so here's his first pitch. He throws a 94-mile-an-hour heater down. All right, pitch 2.
Safely secured.
Another fastball says a strike. So you can see right away, fastball is going to play a little weird, especially because of this hiked up arm angle. So far it looks like it's going to be a weird fastball from a high angle. All right, throws one there, and Chandler Simpson greets him with a little smack ground ball up the middle and a leadoff hit. So the first batter he faces reaches on a single. 96-1. This pitch is in the bottom of the zone. So 3 fastballs in a row to start his debut.
Completely different look than, let's say, a Joe Ryan.
This ball's just swatted up the middle. And you can see on this metric, it was negative 0.5 horizontal break, so that's actual cut. So this is an actual 94.7 mile an hour ride cutter, essentially, as his 4-seam. So that's a good place to start. It's a unique fastball. You want to be unique in this sport. All right, Yandy Diaz, really good hitter here, so let's see. All right, 96 in, down and in. The metric is definitely really good. This ball looks like it's exploding, too, from my eye. And, he thinks that ball's going to be in, but again, it doesn't really have any run to it, so it holds. All right, let's watch the pickoff move. Pretty tight turn. Could be a little tighter. All right, first off-speed pitch. Here's a slider. All right, so considering his arm angle, that's going to feel like a very north-south slider, sort of a death ball pitch. Vertical break 5.4, horizontal break 1.2. So Yeah, it's going to be a lot of gyro spin, kind of nose pointing down, trying to drive the ball down. As you can see, everything's going to go from really high release straight down. So he gets on top of that ball, chops it foul. All right, so very nice looking slider there. He's going to come with the fastball here on 0-2. Pulls it down and away. Now he's going to go slider again. This one's 88. It's just a great swing by Yandy Diaz. To my eye, that's actually a pretty good pitch. I mean, I think if he could do it again, he'd like to throw it a bit lower. You know, he leaves it in the zone ultimately. And Yandy's so good at going the other way. This is a great approach by a great hitter. But ultimately, it's not a horrible pitch, especially considering, like, this pitch comes from the heavens. The arm angle is weird. So even though he's given up 2 hits to start off the debut, I still feel like he's coming out there with some pretty premium stuff. And this is just a very good swing by Yandy. So, of course, Chandler Simpson's running, so he's going to fly around. He's going to score the whole way. And Yandy's getting an RBI double. So 1 run in, man on second, 2 batters in. Not ideal. And now Brandon Lau. Oh, so here comes the splitter. Ooh, and gets a nice swing and miss on that. All right, pause for the splitter. 14 RPM, 84 miles an hour. So the fastball is around 94, 95, so it's about 10 miles an hour off the fastball at first glance here. Horizontal break has 8.6. So the 2 other pitches that he's shown so far have basically no horizontal movement. If anything, they're going to look like they're going slightly away from a righty, slightly into a lefty. This pitch actually has 8.6 inches to the right. On a split, though, these aren't usually very consistent metrics, so we'll watch that. But just it's important to note that this is one pitch that does go the other direction compared to his other 2. 6.6 vertical break doesn't really mean a whole lot, but the action on it visually looked very encouraging. And he gets a swing and miss out of a very good hitter and a chase on the 0-0 count. So that says a lot in and of itself. All right, 0-1. He's going to double up. Oh, that's dropping off the table. You could take the metric out of it because he's throwing from such a high release. It's the downward angle. He's playing a VAA approach in the other direction. Oh, triple splitter. Wow. Okay, now I'm seeing where the strikeouts are coming from. The splitter's wipeout. I can tell you from the first 3 I just saw, and it's because of the angle. He's so high that he's not getting under 0 or anything induced vertical break, like 3.7. That's still quite outstanding from his slot, but he's driving this ball down out of the hand, and it's on such a steep angle with all of his pitches that I don't think the batters can identify what pitch it is out of the hand. And then the splitter, I mean, it's on such an extreme downward plane, almost maybe Zach Britton-ish, but straight down. So already, I mean, triple splitter to a great hitter. And he's nowhere near any of these pitches. So that's strikeout, first strikeout of his career. Good one to get. Brandon Lau, great hitter. And I was very impressed with that. All right, now we got Junior.
Straight downhill.
All right, he's going to start him with a slider. All right, so to this point, 3 pitches. 4-seam, that's kind of like a cutty, super righty 4-seam. At the slot plays into everything, though. It's a very unique slot. Oof, blows one by Junior. So a challenge hitter to an absolute superstar hitter. Don't get it twisted. 95.5, 20.6 induced vertical break. That's elite. And 2 inches of horizontal, so that's a very elite shaped fastball, especially from his angle. I would wager his 4-seam fastball is going to grade out exceptionally well in stuff models. Anyway, he freaking blows it by Junior here, 1-1. All right, 1-2. Looks like he's going to the split. First split we've seen to a righty. Really good one. And he's way out in front of it. Pulls it foul. I think he should have doubled up with that. But I also have no idea how Junior hit this ball. And this speaks to the ability of Junior Caminero. This ball is a 19 ball, almost a 20 ball up top in terms of vertical break at 96 after a changeup, way above the strike zone. And he makes contact on it. This was very impressive. Yesavage is dominating this at bat, but hasn't gotten the final strike. All right, slider. Also, I know I haven't probably mentioned it until now, but Yesavage, that's an 80 grade name. Yesavage? I love that. And splitter. So he pulled a couple balls down. Really good at bat by Junior. Really good at bat by Junior, and he ends up losing them. Okay. And now Josh Lowe. Not Lau, Lowe. Fastball ball. So this is a little bit of a laborious first inning, for sure. Fastball away gets the swing through. He's got exceptional shape on his fastball, and I think his slot makes his slider and his curveball have a chance to be exceptional as well. It's unique. All right, so he's going to get the third out here on this chopper. Oh, Jimenez, such a smooth player. So good. You know what? That's only the second out, isn't it? Man, this is a very laborious first inning. I like that word right now, laborious. But the fastball kind of eats him up. Really good play. Really good play. And then Jake Mangum. First pitch slider. So second and third. Gets the ground ball to Jimenez again. Man, you want to hit to that guy every time, huh? All right, so he gets out of it. Tough first inning in the show. Had a lot of traffic. Ends up giving up a double, a single, a double, a walk. So three base runners. Caminero had him kind of where he wanted, but he did show a lot. He did show a lot in that first inning stuff-wise. All right, second inning. Nick Fortes. Beautiful 0-0 slider, dotted. And now fastball off that. Chews him up. There's that man again, Jimenez. And there's one away. Tristan Gray. So another lefty in here. I think he's going to chew lefties up too. I think he's going to be a reverse split. That's my first initial thought watching him. So fastball for a strike. Here comes the split. Way out in front of it. Split has good separation speed-wise too. It's not a power split. It's a little bit of a hybrid. I wouldn't call it a forkball, but it's definitely a true splitter. It's not a split finger fastball on variation. Sticks with it again. Ooh, really nasty. Gets the chase below there. So I think he has a little bit of an effect that I remember watching a little bit with Michael Wacha when he first came up, throwing from a very high release, getting a downward plane on the way in. I feel like if your fastball's already on the downward plane and your slider's on the downward plane, then it's perfectly fine to have your changeup on that downhill plane because that hides it a little bit. And then it just like it peters out a lot earlier than those other pitches. So that's a really, really good effect. And something that he seems to be leaning into given his really high arm slot. I'd love to know the degrees on this. It's up there. And then, wait a minute. Yep, Carson Williams now, another rookie here. So 2 outs, nobody on. This is shaping up to be a very nice second inning. He got a weak ground out and a really nice strikeout. And he gets himself to an 0-2 count right away. Beautiful. Beautiful process here. Man, really good split. You know, I talk a lot about guys bouncing curveballs in the kill zone, this area below the home plate, below the strike zone, right behind home plate. One hop your catcher. Same applies to a split, like a pitch of this type. There's so many strikeouts to be had down here. This is such a big chase area. This is a good take right here, but doesn't mean he'll do it on the next pitch. Let's see if he doubles up. He goes four seam. And now he gets the freeze down. So great example of using a take below the zone to set up a low freeze on a four seam. That's something he's going to have the capability of doing given his mix. This was very nice execution on that. And again, when you're over 20 inches induced vertical break in any plane, 20 inches of break in any plane, that's elite. That's what he's got right here. And off of that take down below the zone right here on this pitch. So here's the take down. Just showing you, this is Kevin Gausman. Is probably going to be somebody he's going to study. You get the take down where the hitter doesn't trigger. Well, guess what? Fastball down, he's not going to trigger either. So beautiful job there, an execution by the Blue Jays. So beautiful second inning. 2 strikeouts that inning. All right, back to the top of the order. Chandler Simpson. First pitch slider ball. Slider strike. I don't know, it's very interesting. His slider and his splitter are kind of similar pitches. Maybe he can land his slider a little more for strikes. Like he can keep the slider a little more in the zone. Wow, he actually led the minors in K per 9. 14.7. All right, gets Simpson way out in front on a split. 64-mile-an-hour ground ball, beautiful. So I think the split is a true chase. I haven't seen him land too many in the zone. Some of them happen on accident, but for the most part, it looks like he's always throwing those for chase. Slider, it looks like he's willing to use that early in the count. Other than that, it's fastball in the zone. So interesting. 2 pitches that he likes to throw in the zone. But the split, right now the split, I just think given the angle he's throwing at, the split is playing crazy. All right, Yandy Diaz. See, there's that first pitch slider. He definitely likes to use that to get to 0-1 if he can. Now he's coming back to that heater. I do think the heater is his strike pitch. So you're going to see a lot of heaters, challenge heaters out of this guy, which might work for a while, but eventually he's going to have a second pitch that he's going to feel comfortable landing for a strike at will. Maybe he already does. Maybe it is the slider. But so far, it seems to me like when he needs to throw a strike, it's coming a fastball. Right there's an example. 2-1 fastball. Here's another one. 3-1 fastball. And he ends up walking him. So first base runner in a little bit. And now Brandon Lau again. And he got him with 3 splits the first time. So let's see what he does this time. Fastball down, ball. If I were Lau, I'd probably be taking all the way here until I got a strike, since I chased so much that first at-bat. And it makes sense. But also a very valuable pitch to have logged right here. A down and away fastball with the downward plane, the downward angle. This sets up the split possibility later. If that's a strike, that means you have to honor something headed that way. Could be a split. Could catch you fishing. Well, here comes one right here. Let's see if it works. Well, he didn't execute it, but it still had great effect to the point where now Lau is seeing 4 splitters and he's missed all 4. So I'd be shocked if he didn't throw a 5th one following this horrible miss here. And now 1-2, yep, splitter again. And another miss. So 5 splitters, 5 swing and misses, Brandon Lau. Good gracious, what a split this pitch is. I mean, he is nowhere close to this. He chops over it. Nasty. The split is plus, folks. I have to say. Like, compared to Jonah Tong's splitter, there's no comparison. This is the real deal split. This split is very impressive. All right, Junior Caminero. He's going to punch him. So looks like he gets on a little bit of a strikeout binge here. 94 ball. He's going to go 1-0 slider. So good job landing the 1-0 slider. Junior gives him the nod. Oh, you landed the 1-0 slider. You didn't throw me the fastball. Doubles up, throws it down. Junior's got a lot of swag in the box right now. His body language says, I'm going to rock your shit. Ooh, takes a big hack, chases. And then he throws him the perfect slider. He definitely was like, damn, that was pretty nasty, I'm not going to lie. But Junior got himself in trouble by chasing that 2-1 pitch. But then this is, again, beautiful execution. Where is it, folks? It's below the zone. Right behind home plate. And look at the downward trajectory out of the hand on Mr. Yesavage's slider here. Well, my line sucks, but you get the idea. Straight freaking down. Nasty. All right, so he punches out Junior. Now he's going to get the other low. Well, this guy's actually low. He's not Lau, but he's going to get him. Splitter, strike 1. So if he can land the splitter, you're in big trouble. If he's landing the splitter for strikes, now the fastball is going to play crazy up top. 0-2. Oh, he's going to give him all 3 pitches. And a good morning, good afternoon, good night. Super domination right there. That was a hell of an at-bat. He lands the split. He goes 4-seam up away, swing through. Splitter below the zone. We'll see you later. Nasty. Mangum. So this is really a strikeout binge. 3-pitch punchy, too. Ooh, dotted down and away. Gotta love that. Split off that all day. Outstanding. Split again off that, even lower.
And there's a reach. And he is out number
Ridiculous.
2.
Ridiculous. He just completed 2/3 of an immaculate inning, so he's headed for the immaculate inning attempt. Nick Fortes. Immaculate inning in your debut? That would be crazy. All right, he got to the 0-1 on the third hitter. He loses it here. And to tell you the truth, he didn't lose shit. That was freaking dotted. Are you kidding me? This man's in pursuit. He's in pursuit of an immaculate inning. Come on, man. This ball's fully in the box. You know what? I think I'm going to give him credit for one. He actually did one better than an immaculate inning. This is a 10-pitch immaculate inning in your debut. The splitter is filth. The chase pitches are filth. His chase rate's going to be so freaking high if he can locate his fastball down. Stuff-wise, this is how these 3 pitches tie together. This is impressive. Really good sequences. Now, I can see him getting in a little trouble command-wise at times. I could see people maybe hitting this fastball when it's in predictable counts. But if he's ahead in the count, he's lethal. All right, 5th inning. I think this is all they give him. 18 swing and misses coming into that. That's insane. You can see it. The chase rate's going to be through the roof. So now he gets a first pitch out on a slider. Beautiful. That's where he's going to get his early action from, more than likely. So that's going to have to be part of the game too. And Carson Williams also doing a really good job as we've gone along in this game of being 0-1 all the time. And we know how important that is. All right, 1-1. Good slider down. Maybe a little too far down. I'm not going to quibble with it. See, that's the pitch that I think occasionally will get popped, is a predictable fastball in the middle despite the incredible shape. But he got him off the end there. Only 96.3 can of corn. All right, 3rd time through, Chandler Simpson. So he has grounded a hit and grounded out. 4-seam up, good pitch to him. He can't handle that. Foul ball. They're probably going to double up. Ooh, this one's middle. Not sure what he was looking for, but 0-2. Yeah, and then another perfect chase slider. The angle at which he throws really sets himself up for the low chase even more than most guys. It's just the natural angle of the ball coming out of the hand makes it really hard to differentiate the pitches. And he has a perfect mix to suit that slot. All right, he's going to face one hitter in the 6th. It's Yandy Diaz. And Yandy was very comfortable. Yandy got on all 3 times. It's probably an oppo hit. Yeah, almost takes his head off. 110 at your forehead. So that was a good, okay, we made it out of our debut alive. Actually, I threw the crap out of the ball. 9 strikeouts? Is that what I counted? So we're going to come back and look at his mechanics in a second because they're a little unique. But let me just get into this for a second. I have the box score here. So Trey Yesavage, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. Outstanding debut. Really, really good, especially considering you gave up a run after the first 2 batters. That strikeout binge he went on was downright filthy. Hard hit balls, 5. Okay, but most of them are grounders, I would say. Just the 1 to center maybe, and maybe the 1 hit down the line from Yandy. All right, let's get into what he did. He threw 42 4-seamers, 19 splits, 18 sliders, so you really didn't know which secondary was coming. He definitely trusted his fastball in traditional fastball counts, which is a little weird, but he has great shape to it. As we saw, throwing mostly 18 to 20-inch, maybe even more than that, vertical break. Very little horizontal movement from a high slot. That's a special shape. Slider shape is kind of whatever. Splitter shape, honestly, is kind of whatever in a bubble. But from that arm slot, they both play up super, super well. And, I mean, the whiffs were out of control. 19 whiffs total in 36 swings, including 11 whiffs on 14 splitter swings, including 5 in a row to Brandon Lau. So, just an incredible amount of chase below the zone. Swing. Yeah, he induced 46% swing out of the strike zone in this game. That is absolutely elite. Probably not sustainable even for a guy with this chase capabilities, but that's incredible. And on top of that, their zone swing was only 59%. So they didn't swing at a lot of the pitches that were in the zone and were hittable, and they swung at way too many that were out of the zone and unhittable. Great combination if you can pull it off as a pitcher. So these metrics are outstanding. As for the spin on his pitches, fastball's got decent spin, pretty good. Split, low spin, that's what you want. Slider is low spin, but I think it serves its purpose to create a death ball, which is what he's trying to do. A death ball is a pitch that kind of gyros and goes straight down. The effect of that straight down, that VAA effect of a very steep pitch as it heads towards the strike zone and into the hitting area, very, very effective. So that's nice. Now let's check the way it looks on the 3D. First, we'll just look at these four-seamers. Now, he's got this very high slot, but you can see these pitches that he drives downward towards the bottom of the zone. They're in stark contrast to the ones that are at the top of the zone that he kind of lets fly. But these serve such an important purpose, the pitches that are driven down, to set up these types of pitches. You know, the split finger, it just never gets there. He obviously throws a ton of them below the zone, and then a ton of them actually have a little movement off of that. They all come out of that same slot with the initial movement out of the hand being down, which you can see here from the side angle. The initial movement is downward, as opposed to like it's a steeper grade than average, I would say. Much steeper than average coming out of the hand. So that plays into that. And then here are the sliders. And you can see the sliders, it's kind of the same approach. It's a very straight down when he gets them to the kill area. Those are also protected by the angle of that fastball as well. And then the other ones are the ones he's trying to land for strikes, because you have to have, you know, more than one pitch you're going to land for strikes. So all three pitches really serve serve very good purpose for him. It's a very impressive arsenal for only three pitches. I actually think I wouldn't change it at all right now. I would just continue to master what he's doing. I don't think people are going to be onto him very well. I think people are going to chase a lot. I'm very impressed with him. He's going to impact this race as long as he's not overworked or anything like that. But he's a very tough matchup for certain hitters. You'd have to be pretty scoopy to get under his ball, but then you're going to have a really hard time making swing decisions down. So, and then up, his fastball is going to absolutely dominate you with the 20 inches of vertical break. So he's got really, really good stuff. It's actually similar to Tong, but nastier, in my opinion. Better slider than Tong's curveball in terms of the speed on it and the way that he works downward. Tong kind of stretches out to get more extension for his frame, and he's at like pretty high extension given his height. Whereas this one, Yesavage is like cheating his extension down to create a steeper angle and using his high arm angle to his advantage in that way. All right, let's go back and watch his mechanics, and then we'll get out of here because this was a heck of a debut. Very, very good. All right, I'm going to look for a fastball, like a pretty good fastball, but I want one with nobody on first. All right, here we go. All right, so the setup is very similar to what a lot of guys are doing now, where they're already preset with the back foot. The back foot's already pivoted. This foot right here, it's already pivoted. So they don't really have to do much. So all they do when they initiate their move is they just kind of turn their shoulders, and he does it to counter rotate his body a little bit. So he naturally sets up a counter rotation. You see how this foot is pigeon-toed? So what that does is it kind of gets his hip cocked in a position. And then from there, he goes through a lot of the traditional, checkpoints that a pitcher needs. There's the drift. He creates a little linear momentum for himself. The difference is he leans back. So here's the huge lean back, and I'm sorry for this piece of netting that's in the way of this camera. It's very that's atrocious placement, but he leans back and clears his head out of the way to get his head way over the top, and to help facilitate that move. You can see how small the stride is. The front foot, the lead foot here, doesn't really stretch as far as it could. Like at this point, it looks like it's going to land around here. Instead, he just sets it down, right? Like it looks like he's going to keep going, but instead he just sets it down. The impressive thing that he does, in my opinion, even though he's leaning back, as he lands, the hips are very, very level. So he sets himself up to rotate super efficiently around a tight 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 axis of rotation here, and that allows him to throw very hard out of this slot. Also, very good lead leg block, very good timing with it. Look at that move right here, almost like a javelin thrower, you know. So that's how he creates it and still manages to throw hard despite this really big lean back in the trunk. He sets himself up with good even hips and a great lead leg block, and he's a big guy, so definitely creating a lot of power. And I honestly, it's kind of an impressive delivery for as unorthodox as it is. And kids at home, unorthodox, I mean that in a very good way, very complimentary way. Very hard to be good if you're not unorthodox. If you're like everybody else, if you're very, in the middle of the pack, that probably doesn't play very well for you. Let's watch it from this angle. So you can see how the arm works. It's actually a pretty simple arm swing. He doesn't get crazy deep with it. Kind of keeps it under control. Hella scap retraction, which is this move here where you see the arm as it kind of flips up. It's back here, really in a very strong position. So that's a good thing. And he just rolls it over from there. And then as soon as the foot lands, wham, wham. Doesn't do a whole lot with the glove hand, which I like, because if he did more, he'd probably pull off too much off his target. This allows him to direct that energy towards the plate by not doing much with this glove hand. All right. And that's really all I got on Mr. Yesavage. Very impressed with the debut. Very intriguing guy. I actually didn't know what to expect. I hadn't really looked at his numbers. I didn't realize how eye-popping they were in the minor leagues leading into this. But there they were. They were super eye-popping with the 14.7 strikeouts per 9 this season. That's outrageous. And maybe that should have demanded more attention, certainly from me. But he knocked the door down, and now it's very interesting what the Blue Jays are going to do with all these pitchers. I do think he's going to impact, though. I'm wondering how ultimately they use him. I don't know if he has the capability of pitching himself into a postseason start over the likes of Bieber, Gausman, Scherzer, but he might be not too far behind some of these other guys, and then maybe they can use him in shorter bursts as well. So, going to be interesting to see. But anyway, that's it for me. Thanks a lot for checking me out on this video. And the reason why I'm in the suit, in case you were wondering, I was working the Yes Network tonight. I just got home. Wanted to get this video up as fast as I could for the Blue Jays fans in the morning. So thanks so much for everybody. I will be on the stream in the morning if you happen to watch this tonight. And if not, I'll see you on the next episode of Watching. All right. Thanks.